Hello everyone, this is Crypto Bit Law, here with another blockchain legal brief, and today we're going to discuss a recent class action lawsuit that was filed against Binance US over their sale of UST and LUNA tokens. But before we dive in, please, if you enjoy the content, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And with that said, let's jump right on in. Alright, so here we could see Cointelegraph reports Binance US faces class action lawsuit over LUNA and UST sale. The lawsuit could be the first of many for US listed crypto exchanges that offered LUNA or UST to customers. Binance US, the sister company of global cryptocurrency exchange Binance, is facing a class action lawsuit from investors for the sale of LUNA and TerraUSD, UST. A group of investors filed a class action lawsuit in the Northern District of California on Monday, alleging that Binance sold unregistered securities in the form of LUNA and UST to investors and misled them into buying them. The lawsuit was filed by law firms Roche, Freedman, and Dontzin, Nagy, and Fleissig, on behalf of several investors who lost their money during the recent LUNA and UST collapse. The lawsuit alleges that Binance US is not registered as a broker-dealer in the United States and thus clearly violates U.S. securities laws. The plaintiffs in the case accused the crypto exchange of knowingly promoting a flawed project in which the parent company had invested earlier. Ooh, spicy. The lawsuit filing pointed out that the crypto exchange not only supported and promoted the security token, but its parent company also listed the second version of LUNA 2.0 after the failure of the first. The lawsuit also accused the crypto exchange of false advertising, pointing towards its claims of UST being fiat-backed, which was redacted after the collapse. And here we have it. What is Terra LUNA? Terra is a blockchain specializing in fiat-backed stable coins with a seigniorage mechanism using their utility, governance, and staking token LUNA. Ooh, that seems like a big no-no. Fiat-backed stable coins, that's definitely a false or misrepresentation. An excerpt from the lawsuit reads, Binance US's failure to comply with the securities laws and its false advertisements of UST have led to disastrous consequences for Binance's US customers. The plaintiffs in the case have demanded a trial by jury for all charges that are deemed trialable. Binance didn't respond to Cointelegraph's request for comment at press time. Kyle Roche, the founder of Roche Freedman, had earlier requested LUNA investors to contact the firm in case they bought LUNA on any of the leading crypto exchanges in the United States. Thus, the lawsuit against Binance could be the first of many. And here's a tweet from this lawyer, kind of fishing for customers. If you purchased LUNA or UST on either Coinbase, Kraken, Binance, or Gemini, please reach out to Terra Recovery at RocheFreedman.com. My firm's coordinating an effort to help those who lost funds from the recent collapse of Terra and LUNA. Yeah, good luck getting anything. All right. While investors in South Korea filed a lawsuit against the founders of the Terra project the same week it tanked, the latest case against Binance US is the first in America. Looking at earlier tweet of the law firm involved in the suit, other U.S. registered crypto exchanges might face similar lawsuits in the near future. Binance's legal trouble continues to mount in the U.S. as the lawsuit comes at a time when the Securities and Exchange Commission is already investigating its BNB coin offering from 2017. Okay, so here is a copy of the complaint. It's going to be linked down in the description below. We can see the caption for the case. The title's Lockhart versus BAM Trading Services, which we know from other lawsuits that we've analyzed, namely the Hex crypto class action lawsuit, wherein Hexagon sued Binance and CoinMarketCap for artificially suppressing the rankings of coins like Hex and other projects and inflating their own projects like BNB. BAM Trading Services is the parent company of Binance US, right? And so they're also suing Brian Schroeder And we could see, I guess if we go to the party section, who is Brian Schroeder? Well, let's take a look. Lockhart, he's a resident of Utah. That's the plaintiff. BAM Trading Services, that's their Delaware corporation that operates under the trade name Binance US. And here we go. Defendant Brian Schroeder is the CEO of Binance US. And if you recall, Brian Brooks, he's, I think, now the CEO of Block Fury. They run, they make Bitcoin mining software and chain analysis software. He was a former comptroller for the United States. And if I'm not mistaken, he was the head of Binance US for like a very short while and quickly left. I think he smelled something fishy going on. Then he left and then went to another company, now Block Fury. But I mean, he's a really smart cookie if you actually heard him testify at some of the congressional hearings. But moving on, some interesting points of note from here. I mean, they just kind of give like a general background of stable coins and what Terra is and how it worked with Anchor and how that all tied in. And if we could scroll down here to page, let's see, we want page 22. Okay, this is where they go on to allege that UST is a security. They state at paragraph 96, although unregistered, UST is a security because it's an investment contract, or in the alternative. So now they're arguing in the alternative. We've talked about this before. This is, remember when I first learned about this, I was just kind of like, what? Are you serious? You could do this? When you argue in on the alternative, you pretty much give two arguments. You say, hey, judge, first, this is my best argument, but if you don't buy this, if you're not buying what I'm selling you in the first argument, maybe you'll buy what I'm selling you in the second one. Maybe you'll take the second one. So you argue for whatever you think the judge would buy most likely first, and then say something like, in the alternative, in case you're not buying what I'm selling you here, here's my second argument. So with that aside, let's continue on. Although unregistered, UST is a security because it's an investment contract, or in the alternative, because it is a derivative product of LUNA. The first bona fide public offering of UST occurred on or about September of 2020. UST is an investment contract, and then they go on to do a Howey analysis, which we've talked about it before. The Howey test is a test derived from this case, the Howey case, which was like in the 1920s or something, that involved orange groves. Really outdated, but I mean, I guess the test still kind of holds up, and it's a 4-part test. We'll go through it right here. Analysis of the facts and circumstances surrounding UST tokens shows that they are investment contracts under Howey and are therefore securities. Under Howey, a contract, transaction, or scheme is an investment contract if it involves 1. An investment of money, 2. In a common enterprise, 3. With the expectation of profit, 4. From the essential efforts of another. UST tokens involve contracts, transactions, and schemes, including a series of understandings, transactions, and undertakings that, when viewed as a whole, amount to a security. And then they just go on and do a Howey analysis based on the 4 parts of the test and apply it to Terra and present arguments for why they think it is a security. And I've said this before, I mean, I can't help but agree with them here. And I can't help but agree with Gensler that, I mean, I think the vast majority of these coins and tokens out there are more likely than not securities. But let's continue on. Let's scroll down to some of the more interesting parts here. On page 54, we could see right here, they get to their causes of action. And pretty much, I mean, all of these different causes of actions are related. I think there's like 8 of them in this lawsuit. And they're asserted against Binance US and Schroeder in some of them, the CEO of Binance US, for pretty much sales of unregistered securities. And the other ones are things like deriving profits from transaction fees, e-contracts to pay transaction fees to an unregistered exchange, unregistered broker-dealer transaction fees, purchasing securities, illegal contracts to purchase securities. Let's see, control person liability for violations of the Exchange Act, offer sale of unqualified securities under the California Corporations Code and the California Business Code. So yeah, there's a lot of that going on here. And then I forgot to mention this, so I guess we'll cover it right here. In this section of the lawsuit, it goes over, it just kind of gives excerpts from the Securities Act and pretty much states, hey, unless a registration statement's in effect as to a security, it shall be unlawful for any person directly or indirectly essentially to sell it, right? But then they say right here in paragraph 198, it's the remedy provided by the Securities Act. And per section 12A1 of the Securities Act, it provides in relevant part that, quote, any person who offers or sells a security in violation of section 77E of this title shall be liable to the person purchasing such security from him, who may sue either at law or in equity in any court of competent jurisdiction to recover the consideration paid for such security with interest thereon, less the amount of any income received thereupon, the tender of such security, or of any damage if he no longer owns the security. So it pretty much says that, hey, if someone's involved in selling unregistered securities and you buy one and you get screwed, your remedy, according to the law, is to sue this person that sold it to you and to recover with interest the value of that security. So less any income you received from selling it. So yeah, I mean, they've got a claim, here, if the court finds that it was a security, which I very well think that they might. And so pretty much here, I think we have, two main issues. It's the issue of the unregistered security, and that's going to require a determination from the court that Terra and Luna, either or, were actually securities. Clearly they weren't registered, so they'd have to be deemed securities. And so you have to jump through that whole loophole, or not loophole, but that whole bar in order to actually move the suit through. And unless you can, get past that, it would throw the whole case in jeopardy. And you have to tack on the fact that that issue might be mooted out by a lot of this pending legislation and regulation that's going on with that new crypto bill that's floating through Congress. But that's going to take, I'd say, at least 2 years to get up to speed. But litigation takes a real long time too. It could be 3 years before this case really substantially moves, unless they're really aggressive on it. And there could be a lot of litigation before there's any, motions filed that determine some of the merits of this thing. So, who's to say how that would play out? And I think their better claim here would be, false advertising. I didn't see anything in the causes of action that alleged false advertising per se. It was more like violations of the unfair business practices under the California Corporations Code and the California Business Code. And so there could be something baked into there, but I think they'd have a better chance with that. Not to say, I can't help but agree with the plaintiffs in this case. What Terra and Luna did was scummy, and for Binance to advertise it as backed by, fiat-backed stablecoins, that's patently false. But I think that these plaintiffs have a long road ahead of them. But as we've said before, a lot of times in these class action lawsuits, what they're doing is trying to eke out a settlement. And so, they could, Binance just give these people $10 million, $20 million just to go away. Be like, piss off, get out of here. And it would be nothing off of CZ's butt just to do that. But I don't know. It's all speculation at this point. Only time will tell, and we'll have to see. And I think certainly California is a more plaintiff-friendly jurisdiction than somewhere like Delaware. So I don't know. There's just a lot of open-ended questions. I guess only time will tell. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We'll keep producing more of these videos, keeping you guys up to speed as to what's going on with, business and the law and technology and crypto, all those sorts of things. And so with that said, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you all in the next video.